All right, so what can be said about the riders here in Cumberland? Let's check it out. Yeah, it's nice to go with somebody that's ridden it too. Yeah, so what's amazing for somebody that's mountain biked for a lot of years on lots of different parts of the country, there's such a unique atmosphere and community that happens here in Cumberland that I am just absolutely blown away anytime I'm out there. Whether I'm going up for a ride and I'm going up the climb trail, I always seem to run into somebody that's visiting, and they're just blown away by how nice everyone is and in the community and how everyone's kind of welcome to ride here. I think that's a really unique thing that Cumberland has to offer. I don't see that in many other places. Places that are a little more established might have a stronger kind of like locals only kind of vibe, but the riders here are so diverse that it just does never seem to be an impact on how the community kind of goes together. And just through interviews and working in this community for so long, it's incredible to see that, from like the young Groms that are under the age of 5 and they're all ripping on their push bikes and things, to all the way to the high level racers and the people that are doing this well into their senior years, right? Getting into their 70s and 80s. You still see people out there riding and having fun, whether it's on an e-bike or just a regular mountain bike, or getting out and getting this whole experience and being a part of that community that is so positive towards other riders, whether they're visiting or whether they're locals as well. And I think that's just something that is truly, truly amazing about this place. So none of this would be possible without the incredible efforts of UROC. They're the United Riders of Cumberland, and the whole team there, from the volunteer trail builders to the paid trail builders to the executives and the board, do such an incredible job of tying it all together, having a vision for the future. The cool thing about Cumberland is that I found when they build new trails, they're thinking about more than just what's the gnarliest thing that we can build out here, which is kind of the attitude that was prevalent in trail building back in the late 90s, early 2000s, where they were just kind of building trails wherever. Now there's very much a system. They're looking at the entire trail network in Cumberland and they're saying, hey, what trails do we have? What trails do we need? Who's riding here and who wants to ride here, right? The United Riders of Cumberland just finished building the top of Vanilla Line, which is called New Vanilla. And it's right at the top of the climb trail, which is a very, very nice climb trail that everybody appreciates, and it's very much a lot safer. People aren't going to be riding into each other, things like that. They come up that climb trail and they're able to jump on this New Vanilla Line, and it starts at the very top, wide open section, really nice flowy beam features and things like that. And speaking of the riders, anybody can ride this. That means the little ones, the beginners, the intermediates, the experts can ride this at a really high pace. But what they did when they built this was they wanted to make sure it was the most inclusive trail they had in the network. And what that meant was that it needed to be built as an adaptive trail that could be ridden with someone that didn't have the use of their legs and had to use kind of like a little trike e-bike type thing. Which is wider. It's wide. We've got 2 wheels on the front, probably 2 feet apart, instead of just the handlebars and the 2 wheels in line. And when you're building a trail like that, there's a lot more you have to think about. You have to think about the speed, the pitch, the berm size, and of course the trail width. So making sure there aren't trees and things coming in. And that can be a real challenge. You can build those, but it's going to look like a road and it's not going to look like it fits in the network. It's going to look kind of awkward, like a bike park type thing. and it's not going to keep to the authenticity of the trail network. And it's a real challenge to make it not look like that. And UROC and the team there took it upon themselves to make sure that the riders riding this thing could enjoy it at every level and not look at it as a bike park thing, not look at it as something that needs to be maintained with a machine, something that flows nicely, so that not only are the people riding it going to be enjoying having this rad trail just with their regular bikes, but the people that are on the adaptive bikes don't feel like they're riding on a road. They're actually feeling like they're on a single track trail, because that's what it is. It's absolutely a single track trail. It's just wide enough, just enough clearance that they can get down and still have a ton of fun. And I think that's cool. That kind of adaptive mindset when you're going into the trail building is phenomenal. Last year I did a film with Gravity MTB and some of the crew on UROC, and it was called The Dream Trail, and it was a real opportunity for me to see a few different levels of riders in the community, like really passionate people and their parents. A lot of them were kids that were on this film that we put together. And what was neat was talking to the parents, talking to the kids, having kind of an interview style session, and being able to see what it was like for them to ride in this trail and grew up in this trail, right? These people, I've been here better part of a decade, but these kids, that's most of their life. And to hear about how their progression on the different trails in the network, the progression to more of a race focus was unreal to hear, and to hear the gratitude they had for not only UROC and Gravity MTV, the real focused mountain biking organizations, but also the gratitude the parents had for the community of Comox Valley and the community of Cumberland specifically, to ensure that their kids are growing up and riding and feeling safe and being able to pair up with other riders of their ability or over. And it's just such a cool experience for these people to have and these kids to have, that it's just really fun to be on the sidelines to watch this stuff. So how would I describe the riders here in Cumberland and the Comox Valley? Just super passionate. They're doing it because they love it, and they're sharing that stoke amongst each other. And there was a time that I was climbing up the entire climb trail, working hard. It was a hot day. Got to the very top, met this couple that was from, I think, Germany, and they were talking about how incredible just the other people they've been able to see and ride with on the way up and through some trails were. And they were absolutely blown away by just how committed the riders were to making sure they had a great time. So sending them to trails to start off with that they could really enjoy and have fun with, and then build on that progression so that they can get a little more tech. Somebody even walked them through a line and just kind of led the way, towed them into some bigger lines that they weren't sure if they could do or not, but they were really helped out by that. And I think that's the sense I get when I see people in this community doing everything they can to make sure that everybody's included, all the riders are having fun, everybody on the trail networks going away from it having a really good experience, feeling safe, and everything like that. So I think anybody that's riding and cycling in this community would completely acknowledge that it's not just the riders, it's not just the mountain biking community here that makes it so special. It's the people that support the riders and make Cumberland an absolute home for mountain biking, and welcoming to that community, but also being complete advocates for other trail users. So on the trails, you're going to find that there's going to be people that are running or hiking or just going for a stroll. You're going to find people that are running and hiking and just enjoying nature in their own way. And I think that's truly, truly amazing. And the wildlife in the area are treated very, very well. There's a frog migration that goes on every year. And they close down a bunch of the trails, they monitor it, and all the riders are in on it, making sure that these toads and frogs have a way to cross, as they always do. So they close down trails to make sure that through that period, those frogs and wildlife are taken care of. So I've been riding for 20 years or so, with mountain bikes. Of course, when I was a kid, I would ride for a lot of other things. So I've been riding for a lot of years, and what I can tell you is that I haven't improved that much. So I've been riding for a lot of years, and what I feel so grateful for in Cumberland is the fact that when I ride here, I never feel like I don't belong. I never feel like I shouldn't be here. I never feel lost, and I think that's a huge credit to the community and to UROC for making sure these trails are absolutely dialed. I have the confidence that when I go out, these trails are going to be in great shape. If they're not, they're going to be marking them off. They're going to be rebuilding them very quickly, and I think that's so amazing. Being able to have a family here, and they're growing into mountain biking as well. It's very good to know that I have the opportunity to build them up as solid little riders, and that can of course start with me being able to train them just a little bit, but it can also be through the clinics and Gravity MCB and just the community of riders, knowing that they'll have that support if they want to pursue this mountain biking sport. And I think that's really cool. You don't get to see that very many places. I grew up in Edmonton, and it wasn't that kind of scene. It might be different now, but there was very little organization for that kind of thing. There wasn't a ton of groups for kids and things like that to go out and explore and mountain bike. It was always kind of a thing that a lot of people did, but not a lot of people kind of knew about it. It wasn't really publicized very much, where here it feels like if you're into that, if you're into mountain biking, there's so many opportunities for you to learn and express yourself and join clubs, and that can move on to creating good friends, good leadership, good mentorship, having young kids, coaching the young kids. It'd be such a great opportunity to be able to share that knowledge, right? These kids have grown up, like I said, in this area, and being able to share that knowledge would be spectacular for those kids being able to get out there and grow as a rider and grow up. And you can instill in those kids the values of, you can instill the values of being a good person, not just being a better athlete, but a better citizen, a better person, a better friend, a better everything. And that's something I see in all the riders around here, is just like that humbleness to help out others when they need it, and to accept the help when you need it. Coming down the trail, if you got a flat tire, people are stopping, asking if you're okay, sharing a tube if you don't have one, sharing tool if you don't have one, or sharing their knowledge and skills if you don't have the ability to do a repair on your bike midway through a ride type thing, right? And that's what keeps me coming back. It's what makes me want to bring my kids to come back all the time and ride in Cumberland, is that incredible way that the community just supports its own. And it reminds me a lot of Japan. I've been there for skiing, and one of the biggest takeaways I had from Japan was the fact that they're very kind and very generous with their time and efforts and skills, and very humble. And that's just a feeling I get here in Cumberland and in the Comox Valley and Vancouver Island in general. And I hope that never leaves. I hope that is instilled in the fresh new riders coming up, the professional racers that we have here, and everyone in that whole community, whether they're bikers, hikers, runners, or just people checking out down Main Street. but I want to make sure that's something that stays here. It's a really cool, unique feeling, and I don't think you get that many places. Like I said, it's something that was instilled in me in Japan when we visited there for skiing, and to see that here and to have my kids exposed to that is something that's truly, truly amazing.